Hey, welcome back to Papa's Custom Cars. I got back on a road trip. I'm here for one day for Easter, and I came into the garage. Well, actually, we plugged in the EV, and we were getting a ground fault almost immediately. Um, system alarm came into the garage. I got no power. Doing some checking over here. The air compressor was on and running as it should be, but no lights are working. So I do have power at the EV, and I do have some power at the box. So we have to investigate to see what's going on. So welcome back for a day. We got to fix the garage. Okay, so what I found as I was investigating was my air compressor was sitting there just humming. So I'm almost positive that the motor may have frozen up or the pump may have frozen up. One of the two caused a short circuit and actually took out either the ground circuit or it took out the the white. I can't think of the white circuit, but the white wire circuit, the neutral. So I unhooked the compressor already off camera just to see if I could get everything working. I unhooked all the power wires from the breaker and everything, and I am still getting nothing. Now, the weird thing about this is I have power out to the EV charger. I have power to the heat and AC unit. I had power to the motor of the compressor, but I have no lights or anything. So that tells me I've got either an open neutral or an open ground or a ground that fused to a neutral. So I got to figure out what it is. So that's what I'm doing today. So let's get busy on that and find all kinds of fun. So first thing I got to do, I'm going to kind of do it all off camera, is I need to run an extension cord over to the house because there are two separate panels here, thank goodness. And I'm going to run a panel over to the house so that I can get power in here. And that way I can fire up what needs to be fired up. We do have a refrigerator in here, and unfortunately it is off and has been all night. And I didn't think about that till early this morning, about 3 a.m. So let's figure out what's going on. So I'll grab my tools, my ohm meter, all that kind of fun stuff, go shut the power off to this panel so that we can identify where this short is, maybe it's a breaker, maybe it's a wire, we don't know yet. I'm kind of leaning towards a breaker because I did unhook the offending circuit, but it may have already done damage backwards. So we just have to find out what it is. It might even be its own circuit breaker. So we may pop that off real quick because they're pretty easy to pop off with the power off. So see if that works, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's get to it real quick over here. Oh, what fun. One of the really bad things is it's outside, it's in the 40s, so it's like way fun, you know? So let me move my light around so I'm not blocking it. Like I said, I already messed with it a little bit, and I've got the circuit unhooked completely. This is the heater and the air compressor. I can't get to the air compressor to see what's locked up yet. But I'm imagining that this particular circuit breaker right here is our offender. So we're going to go shut the power off, and we're going to pull this breaker. We're going to see if that fixes it. If not, we're going to have to run our ohm meter through and find our offending circuit. What it usually generally is you've got your white wire, which is your common, and then anytime something like this happens, and even the EV charger is saying there's an issue with the ground and the common, so somewhere in the circuit, the two of them are touching. So it's feeding power in the wrong direction. And there's a million there's a million videos out there on that and what that looks like, guys with light bulbs playing and stuff. But generally, that's what it's going to be because we do have power at the EV. The minute we flip it on, we get an error out there. It starts beeping and says that there's an issue. One of the cool things about the system with the EV is the charger will tell us on the phone what the problem is. So the minute I got the problem, I pulled up the phone and it goes, oh yeah, this is what's going on with the EV. And what it's saying is that common has got a problem. Now, this particular common for the EV has the GFI breaker on it. So it's wired a little bit different than a normal breaker, but I'm almost leaning to believing that this particular motor locking up or this system locking up caused the problem. When I came in yesterday, I turned the power on the compressor. I believe it was on. No, I'm sorry. I turned it off. No, rephrase that. Sorry. I turned it on. It was off. I turned it on. Everything lit. So that tells me that completed the circuit for the whole garage, which it shouldn't do. So that's what tells you that there's something going on with your common and your ground, and your electricians out there can explain it a lot better than I can how that all works. But yeah, it completed the circuit and made everything light. That's not supposed to happen. So we definitely don't want to do that. And I instantly shut it off because we don't want to ruin your circuits or fry something or do something weird. So let's get this thing shut down so that we can mess with it. Got to take an ohm meter and just go through and touch a few different ones. But first, we're going to do is we're going to pull that breaker. So let me go shut the power off and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to clamp my meter on here real quick. Just check some things. So I can see it. So our common bar is going to be our bus bar, which is going to be this one here. And then our ground is on the other side. And then you've got the common bar on both sides, and your ground is way over here along the edge. So what we want to do is see if is there continuity between this bar and that ground system. So if there is, we have a problem. Let's say Houston, we have a problem. Let me move this over here. All righty. Over here. So when I touch my common to my ground, I am getting a tone. Not a good thing. So somewhere in here, something is not right. And we've already unhooked our offending line. So now the issue is to figure out which one is doing it. So we have to isolate it, which is always no fun. I'm curious. Yeah, so we're not getting any resistance there, which is a good thing. Oh, this is going to be the fun part. Now over here, the other bus bar, because our heater and everything's working. And I still got nothing. Well, clearly that's not the problem. I don't see any issues with any of the wiring. The only thing left is go through them one by one, which is not a good option. All right, well, let me go shut the power back down. We can hook back up the two breakers that we did take out because clearly that's not the issue. All right, let me go shut the power off and we'll put the breakers back. Just kind of isolating them one at a time is about the only way you're going to figure this out. Aside from having an electrician come in, which will be the next thing. That's not cheap, so we don't ever want to do that if we don't have to. But if you got to bring a pro, you got to bring in a pro, because clearly there's something that went wrong. The heater itself is working, and it looks like it runs off two hots and a negative. So we've got a 40 amp for that. Kind of the same way that the air compressor runs. This is the only one that runs the 3, but again, we're running the GFI. Very, very strange. I don't see anything with any trouble. Everything is laid out really nice. I need to isolate the breakers to figure out what's what and what goes where. Because the upstairs runs off the same panel, and upstairs is still lit. All right, I'll be back. I'll turn the power back on. AC volts. So here to here, we should not have voltage. And we do. That's our problem. Because it should go here to there. I get nothing. Oh, because the switch ain't on. Well, no, I should still get power here. There to there. AC volts. Oh, yeah. So I'm getting that ground fault. Okay, nothing there. So I'm not getting across there. Across here. I'm getting 120 volts. 120 volts. And not there. I wonder if our issue is in that line. That doesn't explain why nothing's working down here, but upstairs it is. I wonder. Wonder. Yeah, nothing there, so we're okay there. Well, these. See, I'm getting nothing on these breakers. And they should be getting something. Okay, that one's nothing. This is too weird. And I know it has power because it's working. See that one? I've got constant power. No power. Power. No power. No power. Power. No power. Power. No power. This is confusing at best. Let's cut the power and fix this ground up here. This one looks hokey at best. So let's take a look, see at that, and see if we can't fix it. Looks like they just twisted the wire up there, but they didn't put a wire nut or anything on it, which is kind of weird. And it's not even twisted tight. And something like that, that heavy of a wire should be tight. Here's my common hot. That's usually what it is. If you put one here and over on your ground, you'll get hot. Why not? Okay, this one's giving me voltage there on the common. So I'm getting voltage in both places on this circuit. All right, let me do some research. Always fun. Yeah, I'm going to fix that ground too. Come on, Bully Doug.